America voted, and that leaves us with two important questions. Where are we now, and what do we do next? This is the CitizenLink Report. I'm Stuart Shepard, along with the CitizenLink Executive Director, Tom Minnery. Hi, Tom.
Well, here we are. Hi, Stuart.
First, I want to start out by showing you a picture I took just a little while ago. This is photographic evidence that, yes, indeed, the sun did come up this morning. I've been hearing people say that round and about. We're trying to...
At least in Colorado. We can't be sure about the other 49.
There might be a few places it's still dark out there. But that means we're still here, and we still have important work to do. Let's talk about it.
Well, we do. We remind ourselves that CitizenLink and Focus on the Family are about making life better, helping families thrive in a hostile environment. And Focus on the Family does that through the nurturing of individual families, through helps to parents to know how to raise children who are productive, and how to get husbands and wives, how to get along with each other. At CitizenLink, we do that through the public square policy issues that come up and constantly threaten the family. We have to review it this time. Now, is that the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do? No, it's the right thing to do because it comports with God's wisdom and God's principles. And those many of you who are watching are supporters of this effort. And remind yourselves that it is worthy work and Christian work in the public square, done according to godly principles of compassion, gentleness, but firmness is always worth doing.
It's easy to look at the overall outcome and come away thinking, boy, the whole country has run away from us, and this tiny little group of people are trying. Well, no, tens of millions of people went out. I'm not trying to downplay the results from the election, but tens of millions of people voted for pro-family, pro-life lawmakers to represent them in Congress or in state houses and elsewhere.
Oh, that's right. The House of Representatives still maintains its pro-family conservative bulwark status against the Senate and the policies of the White House. And so I think you read something from John Boehner earlier today.
I've got it right here. He sent out a note that his official statement, the Speaker of the House, John Boehner from Ohio, said, quote, "The House is the primary line of defense for the American people against the agenda that's being brought by both the Senate and the President."
Well, those are sturdy words and welcome words. At the same time, we hope that the two sides in these huge issues just before us, something called sequestration, which means dismantling large portions of the federal government, which some people think might not be such a bad idea, but it's a huge issue. That will be upon the Congress and the President starting January 1st. So if they got to work this out before January 1st, or there is going to be cutbacks such as which we have never seen. That's because they could not agree last year during the protracted discussions over budget and deficit and debt and whether to shut the government down or not.
Now, I'm hearing on the media channels today out there, the cable shows are saying, oh, we're going to have partisan gridlock in Congress. Oh, will anything be able to get past the partisan bickering and all that? Well, here's what I'm thinking. What they're really saying is, how will we get pro-abortion legislation through the House? How are we going to get the redefinition of marriage through the House? How are we going to get them out of the way to push this agenda forward? The answer is, they also represent the American people. The American people voted the House of Representatives to have a majority of folks who generally agree with pro-family values, and they represent us.
Well, they do, and I think John Boehner, as Speaker of the House, needs prayer. He's been at this for a long time now, dealing with Harry Reid, the Majority Leader of the Senate, and with the White House. It's not fun in Washington now.
There's also a role that the House plays in particular, and that is the role of scheduling hearings and also doing investigations. There are a couple of things out there which are not in our purview of the issues that we talk about. We've got the whole Fast and Furious scandal. We've got the event in Benghazi. A lot of people want to know what happened there. The House is where those investigations can take place. So while we don't talk about those as news items so much, it does show the importance of having the House under Republican control. Otherwise, there'd be silence there.
Yes, and there is this aspect. The president has told the Russians, in effect, will have more flexibility after I'm re-elected. Now, that cuts one way as far as foreign policy, but might it cut the other way? Might it want him to move toward the center to work out something with the House the House Speaker, John Boehner, and the Republicans in the House. I do not know, but let's pray that he sees the light and wants to come and really talk this time. He didn't seem to be interested in that prior to the election. Maybe things will change.
So stepping back and taking a slightly higher view on this, where are we now?
Partisan gridlock.
True.
Yeah, I do not know. The country has never been in this situation before where we have such a huge forced budget cut upon the federal budget as will take place in January, unless something can happen between now and then. I do not know. We'll just have to continue to report as things clear up. But the midterm elections are only 2 years away, and if things can't get ironed out, I suspect there will be a lot of pressure on those Senate elections coming up in 2 years to put in conservatives. I just think the people are not willing to. The people who voted for Governor Romney are not willing to fold their tents and go away. I think every problem is still here, and there are problems that need to be addressed by all of us, and I believe that we are collectively up for it.
Now, the way I've been thinking about it this morning, the first 2 years of the Obama presidency, we had a Democrat in the White House. We had Democrats running both the Senate and the House. That's when a lot of this really troubling legislation got passed through and put into law. Where we are now is really the last 2 years of the first term of the president, in that we do have that firewall, that line of defense in the House that's kept the rest of that agenda from moving forward. Now, there's still a lot of bad things that are going to be coming around, like all the parts of Obamacare that people don't like were all calendared to go after the election. So that's when we're going to see the tax rates go up. We're going to see healthcare costs go up. We're going to see the aspects of it that nobody likes, but they released all the parts everybody likes before the election.
Well, that's right, and that's reality, and we hope that people will be paying attention and will exercise their voice in the next election.
Pro-family values, just to be straightforward, lost on many fronts last night. Marriage was one of them.
Well, they did. I am shocked and a little bit at a loss for words as to why marriage on the ballot in the 4 states that it was on failed in every situation. We have not seen that in the past. In the past, we've seen politically liberal states unite around God's definition of marriage. That did not happen this time, and I cannot explain that. I think that there was a deflation of public interest in the 2012 election, incredibly so. President Obama got 10 million fewer votes in 2012 than he got in 2008. Back in 2008, his opponent, John McCain, had he gotten the same number of votes then, had he been running now, and got those votes in 2008, would have beaten President Obama. That's amazing to me. I don't yet know what it means. It means that people were much less interested in the elections than we were, and that our audience is. Why that is, I do not yet know, because we've seen a lot of negative advertising, but we've always had that. And maybe for someone who was the first African-American president, and for people to be so disappointed, maybe people just stayed away. I don't know.
Yeah. Tom, there were also a couple of victories last night that we want to highlight.
Well, indeed, there were, and they were from surprising states. The very blue liberal state of Massachusetts turned back physician-assisted suicide. Now, you would think of any state would pass something like that, it would be Massachusetts. But no, the campaign was very well funded on our side and adeptly run. Also, parental notification before abortions can take place is an issue that passed in Montana. That was expected, and frankly, I would have liked to have seen that kind of result in other states. But there are glimmers of hope there. And
that's a hint at the answer to this question, that is, what do we do next?
Well, there are a lot of possibilities at the state level, and I don't want people to forget, with all of the attention on the national political scene, that many, many bills that impact families, marriage, pro-life bills, education, adoption, are state issues. And where we see glimmers of hope in dark times nationally tends to be at the state scene.
All right. Tom, thank you for your insights and comments on this. We do want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think we should all do next. Write to us and let us know what you think at mail@citizenlink.com. We encourage you to pray for our elected officials, and yes, I mean all our elected officials. We're not asking you to agree with them or endorse what they're doing, but do pray for them and pray for wisdom and clarity, and that they'll see the way God would like the country to go. And pray for the future of our nation in these tough times. And remember, stand tall and be heard.